inside. Welcome inside the Campus Recreation and Wellness Center as the Durham Lords honor their graduating senior in the final home game of the season as they take on the 4 and 7 Centennial Colts. I'm Sean McLeod, joined by my broadcast colleague Ryan Vieira, and your starting lineups for tonight's game for Centennial: Stevens, Hawkins, Crooks, Dowrich, and De La Ronde. And for the Lords, Brianna Morrison, Shay Littman, Deja Thompson, Emily Glendening, and inserted into the starting lineup tonight is Kendra Oliver. So out of bounds to start the game for the Lords.
A little mishandle on the way through there.
Oliver puts it up and in and making good on her first start here tonight.
Kendra Oliver picking up right where she left off. 15 points last game. Key contributor off the bench in her return to the lineup, so rightfully so, getting cracking the starting lineup here.
And Morrison bringing it back up. Hands it off to Thompson. And it'll be a travel call as she tries to pass it out.
Couple too many steps there by Thompson.
Littman, one of the graduating seniors here tonight. Thompson, another one. And Brianna Morrison, which will be of high interest to watch throughout the summer, what she decides to do with her basketball career.
Yeah, well, nevertheless, a fun night for the three in question tonight. Good to see them get honored in the final home game of the regular season.
A 2-3 zone from the Lords. It'll be shot rebounded from Glendening. It was De La Ronde who put it up. Morrison hands it off to Glendening. Passes over into the paint. Kendra Oliver once again. It's 4 points for Kendra Oliver early on here tonight.
All off great ball rotation. Good setups all around. Lords playing it around the cycle, getting the cycle game going early against the Centennial defense. That one trickles down over and in.
So Morrison will bring it back up for Glendening. Oliver, sizing up her matchup, will set a screen for Glendening, who gets the ball poked away. That will be Centennial ball.
Some pressure on Glendening, forcing that ball loose. I thought maybe it could have gone out off of a Colt, but nonetheless, Centennial will get the ball back, chance to tie or take the lead early on here.
And Tiffany James coming in as a substitution for Centennial. Currently the leading three-point shooter in the OCAA, although averaging only 5 points a game, shooting 41% from three, which is an insane amount.
Tell me about it, I'll say.
And right up there on the floor tonight, Emily Glendening, top three shooter as well, 36%.
Gotta think we have a good three-point duo going here tonight.
And Morrison misses the shot, and it'll be thrown away as they look to find Oliver in the paint. Oliver pokes it away. Thompson gathers it. Step back jumper is just a tad short. Oliver able to keep it in bounds. Glendening too strong. And finally Centennial able to gather control of the ball.
Again, all off of some good pressure there. The steal from Oliver really led to all that pressure. The Lords just couldn't capitalize underneath the basket.
James drove, but poked away by Morrison. It'll be Crooks who's wide open from three.
Oh. Looked like a close call there as to who that was out off of, but looks like the Lords are going to get this back.
couple substitutions for the Lords as we see Hannah Oak come in as well as Gallimore.
Kendra Oliver and Thompson had out. They both had a pretty big impact to start this game early.
It's interesting to see Kendra inserted into the starting lineup, right? She's came off the bench for majority of the season, also was injured for quite a while, and there's that three-point shot from Emily Glendinning.
There's the Lord's best three-point shooter going. Mention her.
And the ball's kicked out, and looking for a response. Centennial unable to respond.
Already some activity there from the Colts bench.
And we're seeing the Lords really communicating with each other on the floor as well. So always a good sign early, especially when you're looking to head into the playoffs at the position the Lords are in. Ball gets jumped, and Dowrich unable to keep it in bounds.
You mentioned the Lords looking to have that communication factor going into the playoffs, Sean. As we mentioned, last home game of the regular season, they'll have two more coming up on the road. Some big audition games coming up.
Marion Martin, substitute for Centennial. Oaks pushes Crooks out of bounds, so it'll stay with Centennial.
She's going to get a foul for that.
So Stevens bringing it up for Centennial. Will be kicked out. Crooks, it's a 3-on-3 battle there, and Brianna Morrison this time comes away with the W. Brings it up over the logo. Getting a screen from Oak. Puts up a tough shot off the side of the backboard, and Crooks will rebound it. Stevens pulls it back out. Ball comes back to Crook as the shot clock winds down. 7 seconds remain, and she'll head to the line as she's unable to convert on the shot.
Nice little dash there from leading scorer on the Centennial Colts, Christina Cooks, taking advantage of some zone D that looked solid to start off, but just saw a little gap and just went to the basket, and as a result got some contact, and she'll head to the line, a chance for two.
You know, it's an interesting game, a bit of a trap game potentially for the Durham Lords, because when you look at this, you think, wow, Durham's 11-1. You know, that's right up there. You're confirmed going to host a playoff game at this point, and you're thinking 4-7 for Centennial. But then you look at their roster, Crooks with 15 points on the season. They've got the leading rebounder in the OCAA as well with Dowrich.
And we think about it, yeah, for sure. It should be a rather interesting matchup on paper when you think about it, Sean. But surely the Colts, just that defense isn't there for them. And we're seeing it a little bit early on as they've already allowed 7 points halfway through.
And Tiffany James as well, as we mentioned, leading three-point scorer in the OCAA on percentages. Somebody that you have to keep in the back of your mind as well when you're playing defense.
All right, so they got some pretty good big factor players on this Centennial team, and we'll see if the Lords factor players can match up against them tonight.
And the ball down low, and Crooks comes away with it.
Wasn't too happy about the end result as she rolled out of her hands.
Just slipped out of bounds at the end of it. Shea Lippman comes back in. And the shot clock violation as Shea just took one too many steps before putting the shot up.
Yeah, she kind of got a late pass as well there. Not sure if the Lords knew how much time was on the shot clock or not, but the one extra pass ultimately led to the violation, so Colts get the ball back.
Stevens in transition runs into three different Lords defenders. Deja Thompson. Leverage looking to find some room in the paint, kisses it off glass, and I mean, she could be a huge contributor if she gets going.
And another one of those big contributors that we're talking about off the bench, Sean. Talked about Kendra Oliver a lot, also Leverage. She also gets a steal here too. Yeah. Look out.
Lippman leaking out as a layup. It's 11-4. We're going to see a timeout coming from Centennial. They thought about it.
Like to play on here.
Kendra Oliver readying up for substitution, and it'll be Crooks with a tough shot. And she'll head to the line, and she's shaken up a little bit at the end of the play.
Yeah, the extra late shove's going to lead to the foul, I should say. Crooks in a good shooting position, driving to the basket, but ultimately that late push is going to draw to the foul, and a timeout is finally going to be called here.
Decent timeout to be called. You get a chance to get your shots up. You get a couple points on the board and positive mindset coming out of it. And I mean, early on, we're seeing the effects of bringing Kendra Oliver back into the starting lineup. She's looked good.
Yeah.
I think the entire team's been playing some decent defense here tonight. Shea Lippman with 2 points, Leverage with 2 points, like we mentioned. Somebody who really contributed at the end of last season, and this year playing more off the bench, but she can really get out there as well. What are you making of this first performance here for the Lords?
Exactly. It's just like you mentioned, Lords looking for those key contributors, and especially coming off the bench. We saw Leverage put up a big bucket, and then with the steal to lead to that extra bucket there from Littman. So again, we mentioned it all throughout this time, Sean, all throughout this last little home stretch for Durham. Depth is key, especially coming off the bench. You're gonna need scoring at will. That's the strength of your team right now, especially on nights when Brianna Morrison sometimes doesn't bring it exactly. Depth scoring is going to be key for Durham, and that's been a big key for them over this last little bit.
So right now, the Lords have played 8 people off the bench, and I believe Hannah Hamanen is injured for this game. But that's probably the 9 that you're taking into the playoffs as a rotation, right?
Right.
So I'm interested to see, assuming the game doesn't get out of hand, and obviously that's its own situation, but I'm interested to see what the rotation looks like throughout this game. And what a basket there from Thompson.
Nice little move to the inside there, able to split the defense there of Centennial. They get an offensive foul here too.
And Stevens out of control, barreling into the paint, and Thompson with the bucket on one end, the charge on the other.
So Thompson playing a key role in both sides of the court. Again, made that nice little move to get to the inside and get that little layup, and ultimately draws the offensive foul there against Stevens.
So Thompson brings it up for the Lords. Leverage. Look to find Littman, takes it herself. And it's a drop-off pass, and she'll gather up the rebound. Littman fires off a 3, and that'll stick with the Lords.
Colts bench not happy with the call either.
Leverage directing traffic, and a bit too strong, but gets the rebound, and that one is just right.
Just like we saw with Kendra Oliver early, good patience in the paint there by Leverage. It's a couple good bounce-up shots we've seen from her.
That's really what you get out of this front court lineup when you get Oliver and Leverage. Lattimore, as we're going to see Deja put up a soft shot and bounces around and out, but you get a lot of shot making and size down low. They're a real presence. And you see defensively they're a presence as well, as Kendra Oliver bothers that shot, and it is Leverage who gathers up the rebound. bounces around, and once again, in and out, Gallimore.
Gallimore going to want that one back way too easy as she found herself wide open in the paint but couldn't finish.
It's a big lineup right now for the Lords, and you can definitely tell down low it's a struggle for Centennial to deal with this Gallimore, Oliver, and Leverage lineup, as we're going to see Glendening and Morrison, the 1-2 punch, check back in at the next available opportunity. Oliver, mid-range, no good. Still a 9-point lead for the Lords with 1:20 remaining here in the first. Dowridge gathers up the rebound, kicks it out, and he drills it. Hawkins from 3.
That's a big shot there to get Centennial back in this one. I think they're actually going to call this a 2. I thought they showed 6 on the board originally, but I guess the foot was just on the line from how high.
Oliver from 3. Bounces around and out. Things have gone a bit chilly for the Lords over the past minute or so here on offense. And Crooks misses the 3. Dowridge, that's what she does. Grabs the rebound and puts it back up, cuts it to a 5-point game.
Yeah, right, Sean. The Lords offense kind of cooling off a little bit here. A little bit of a run made by the Colts to cut the lead to 5 late in the first.
Leverage drops the pass off to Oliver and Smith behind her. Crooks looking for a venue to the rim, doesn't find it, puts up a tough shot, a few seconds remaining. And Deja Thompson opts to save her 3-point shooting percentage instead of putting one up at the buzzer. It's 15-10. Durham Lords lead here at the Campus Recreation and Wellness Center, as once again we're honoring our graduating seniors here tonight. And that is Brianna Morrison, Shay Littman, and Deja Thompson.
Each have played significant roles, and especially in this year's team. You can point to a lot of reasons why the Lords are succeeding so well at this 11-1 record, but Morrison especially has been in the middle of that. We've seen her have terrific games as well. Deja Thompson early this year has been off the bench quite a bit, but in the absence of with a few injuries, she's been able to make a big impact as a starter as well. And also Shay Littman's been putting up some big shots and been terrific as well over this last little run. So these 3 are having a special night themselves, and hopefully for one last run potentially, Sean. Maybe we hope they come back for one more try at it, but hopefully we'll see some more out of them for one last run come playoff time.
You never really do know with OCAA and CCAA basketball. You know, you can have a really great season, and if you're just in general arts, that's it.
Yeah.
Right? You're in a 2-year program. The interesting thing is, like, you never know with those two, especially with Littman and Thompson. You know, could come back and remain eligible, I believe. With Brianna Morrison, the fact that she's graduating opens up a lot of opportunities to go somewhere and not have to sit out a year, right?
Right.
And I've mentioned it on air before. I don't think it's a secret. There's definitely eyes on her.
Oh, yeah. No question about it.
I mean, I have an interview coming up with her. I'm definitely eager to ask that question and find out what's next for her. That's my little, I graduated journalism. I'm still a journalist.
You got it. You still got it.
Still got it. And I'm really curious to see what happens with the rest of her collegiate career.
Oh, I'm sure you'll find out a lot more in the upcoming interview.
It's getting swiped by Hawkins to start the quarter. And Crooks puts a hand on it a bit too early. It'll be Durham Lords' ball. So the aforementioned Brianna Morrison averaging 20 points a game, 3rd in the OCAA in scoring. Lippman Ball goes into Oliver, puts the shot up over 2 defenders, and there's just not enough size down low.
A few times you've seen that tonight from Kendra Oliver, taking advantage of that size and ultimately being able to put out some good jump shots from the key.
Sarah Dennis is in, along with Glendening, and really interesting that the Lords are maintaining as much size as they are throughout these rotations here tonight. Something to maybe look towards through the playoffs, as Glendening is wide open from 3, and a rare miss in that occasion off the head of Dennis, and it will be going forward for Centennial. Stevens turns around and shot is no good.
Good job by Morrison pressuring, getting back to make that shot a little tougher.
Oliver once again attacking down low in the shot making. That's the 8th point of the night for Kendra Oliver, continuing her hot start.
And like I said, that's what the Lords have missed out of her over these past couple of months, is that advantage she has down low underneath the basket, on both sides of the court, really, that ability to get possession.
Littman in transition, leaves it off glass, and it's good. 21-10. It's an 11-point lead for the Lords.
And I mentioned how the Lords' offense has kind of gone cold there in that last little bit of the first half, or first quarter, I should say. A 6-0 run to start this one.
Hawkins picks up the foul, and we'll see a couple substitutions on either side.
Gonna get some stubs here as well.
So we'll see Gallimore and Leverage come on. And we'll see Martin come on for Centennial. She makes the second as Hawkins, so now Martin coming on.
Number 5, Ariane Martin, for number 2,
All of the role players that we talked about for Centennial living up to their hype so far early.
Yep.
Crooks leading in scoring with 6 points, and Dowrich with 5 rebounds on her way, looking to keep up her seasonal averages, just under 13 rebounds a game, and a bit too strong this time. It'll be Stevens gets the rebound, and tied up is Morrison. We'll stay with Centennial.
More stubs for the Lords coming here too.
Littman comes off and Thompson comes on. So an exchange of graduating seniors on the floor. An errant pass from Centennial somehow works out, as Crooks is the first one to gather the ball. And that's Martin for 3.
That was a bit of a scrambly play there too.
I'm interested to see, it's one of those times where I'd love to have like the live view of the referee's decision there. I think Crooks inbounded it. I'm not sure if somebody touched it, and then Crooks was the first one to gather it off of the inbound.
That was kind of interesting to me, but nevertheless, that scrambly play caught the Lords off guard, and then
there must have been a wild limb in there somewhere, as Emily Glendening drills a 3.
2 of 3 from that department so far. Glendening again living up to her 3-point expectations and where she stands in the league in that department.
And Crooks continuing her scoring tear. That's her 8th point of the night. Morrison. And the points in the paint keep coming for the Lords, as it's still a 10-point lead. 26-16.
Well, back and forth they go. Defense to offense for the Lords. Morrison just quickly off the glass.
Shot is a bit too strong from Dowrich. Morrison gets the ball kicked forward, tries to steal it, and Crooks has some options in transition. Is it back out? Martin loses the handle on it, and a foul called. I don't know about that one.
No, and neither does the crowd either. Morrison got the reach in. Ball just poked loose, and referee was not shy of blowing that whistle whatsoever.
Well, it's a 10-point lead still, but effectively taking 2 points off the board is that call. And I mean, from up here, that looked like a whiffed call.
That's not a foul, though.
That's not a foul. Littman once again in transition and picks up another 2 points. That's her 6th of the night. Bit of a ball don't lie situation there. Almost mirroring it. Crooks. And what a block. Onika leverage. Once again, Littman leaking out. That's 8 points on the night.
And both those last couple points coming from terrific defensive plays. Again, look at this.
Thompson makes a tough shot. And you got to think they're thinking about a timeout, creeping up towards the bench. And there it is. Centennial has just lost the plot over the past couple seconds here.
Turnover point, turnover point, turnover point.
You know,
6-0 run off of 3 turnovers.
We had this conversation. I'm not sure if it was on air or not. But you know, over the last few games, it's just been instances of like, man, I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
And to have this where to us it looked like a missed call. It would have been 2 points going the other way with Littman benefiting from a steal from, I believe it was Morrison. You come back out and it's a steal 2 points, steal 2 points, steal 2 points.
Yep, and two of them from Onika Leverage. That last one from Thompson, she went all the way. And just things have just gotten way out of hand here for the Centennial Colts again. Ball possession's been a big weakness for them in this game, and ultimately the Lord's size really playing a factor here, as Colts don't have that size advantage that the Lords have in their favor right now to keep this game the way it is. So ultimately Durham keep pressuring the ball, and that's led to the successes in this game so far. A 32-16 lead, and we'll see how the Colts gesture out of this timeout and as we get back underway here midway, or almost midway through the second quarter.
So the other thing was a 10-point lead for the Lords. Now it's a 16-point lead, and
just like that,
in a matter of seconds, this Lords lead grows off of transition offense and some great defense, active hands, and you see the Lords already setting up, getting wide on defense, and again, Glendening jumps the pass again, but unable to keep it in bounds.
Well, you mentioned how a 10-point lead becomes a 16-point lead, Sean. That's exactly what defense can do for one team and turnovers can do for the other.
I mean, you have to take the safe passes after the past few minutes. Martin gets it out. Stevens with a 2-point jumper and gets Centennial off to Schneid. Is just a bit too high for Glendening. The Lord's getting a bit of a taste of their own medicine. And Martin gets her 5th point of the night.
There you go. Now the Colts coming back with some pressure of their own as they strip the ball from Thompson. And all of a sudden a 4-0 run off of the timeout. We'll see how the Lords respond to that.
Oliver once again working down low, mid-range jumper off a turnaround, and that's one way to stabilize your offense.
Yep, Kendra Oliver doing it again from the paint. Just keep going to that area. Things have been working out well for you all night because of that. 10 points now for Kendra.
Stevens looking to find a bit of room. And unlucky as that one bounces in, out, all around, and into the hands of the Lords. Deja gets the ball poked away, looking for an outlet for a pass, and finds Glendening, who puts up a airballed 3.
a matter of fact. It was kind of an off-balance type of shot as she got that pass from Thompson looking for options. I thought Glendinning could have given it over the other side, but elected to take the three anyway and came up way short. I should say way short, way out of range, I should say. Well, right.
Yeah. It's like an old school Buffalo Bills field goal attempt. Wide right of the net.
I should take offense to that, given I'm a Bills fan. But
I'm a Bills fan too. I can laugh at it.
But still, then again, yeah, it becomes kind of laughable after 50 plus years or so.
It's been a while, right? And Morrison up over the logo. Looking for an outlet, finds Oliver. She has been all over the paint tonight, and it's her 12th point.
All from that paint area, Sean.
And gathered up.
Lords have been on the glass all night so far in this first half, defensively and offensively.
Morrison stops and pops and banks it in, and it's up to an 18-point lead now for the Lords. And a mid-range jumper is good from Crooks. Morrison. Deja Thompson drops her defender and drops the shot right over top of her.
Sweet move, Thompson giving it her all in the paint. That nice little move to split the defense.
Crooks works into the paint, has to throw it up over a few Lords defenders. Lewis is unable to save it as she gets the ball to the chest. The leverage coming in, and Dowridge coming in once again for Centennial.
We're going to see a change as well as Kendra Oliver heads out.
The shot comes up from deep. It's just a bit too strong from Hawkins. Looking to make it a 20-point lead now are the Lords. Into the paint to Lewis, and just a bit too strong off the back of the rim. Crooks gets it yanked away. Leverage. Littman, and pass is just a bit too strong. Lords will reset. Thompson with a foot on the line for two.
Yeah, Thompson kind of had to step into that one, which is why her foot ended up on the line from that long two-point jumper. It's still a 20-point lead in the hands of the Durham Lords.
Dowridge spins one way into Morrison, spins away into a pretty decent shot. Littman puts up a three.
That foot was off the line.
Shea Littman.
There's the three.
Graduating senior, not really known for her prolific scoring, has been a great teammate throughout her time here with the Durham Lords, but tonight she is on fire as well as Kendra Oliver.
Well, all the seniors have really been on fire tonight. That's the 8th point for Littman. Thompson's on 8 points. Morrison on 4, so they've been giving it their all in this first half as well.
And Brianna Morrison with 6 assists as well, taking more of a facilitator role here tonight. But
yeah,
the way everybody else is shooting, I mean, certainly understandable.
There's that key again, all the depth scoring coming in for Durham. Like we said, depth is key, especially come crunch time.
And it's going to be going the other way, Centennial. Centennial Centennial's able to take the last shot with the shot clock turned off. Crooks for three, and it's no good. That'll take us into halftime, 45-22. And like you said, some great performances down the roster for Durham right now. What are you making of that first half, Ryan?
30-12, the Lords outscored the Colts in that second half, the second quarter, I should say. And it's all off that ball pressure, like we mentioned, those three takeaways leading to 6 points on the board, that 6-0 run that really, the Colts really couldn't recover from. It was all Lords from that point on. A lot of key defensive plays being made, and that's put the Colts in a hole. We'll see if they can get out of it somewhat as we head to halftime.
Well, we'll be back in about 14 minutes right here for the final home game of the season, but not the final broadcast because we will have playoff games. So we'll be back in about 14 minutes right here at the Campus Recreation and Wellness Center.
We all really want to win and we all want to work hard towards winning. We don't think that just because we've done so well in the past years that other teams are just going to give it to us. We know that people know who we are because of how well we've done, and we have to work for what we want. These past couple years have been really good. Team-wise, I've made some of my best friends on this team who I believe will be with me for the rest of my life. And it doesn't feel like we're really friends. It feels like we're more of like a small family because of how closely knit we are.
Honestly, it's a really great program. There's a lot of extras that we have here. We have ETS, which is one of our fitness programs that we go through during the season, which helps with like injury prevention and also helps us improve as players throughout the year. Also, we have a really great coaching staff. We're really hard on academics, and we want to make sure that everyone, while they're doing well on the court, they're also doing well off the court.
The way I approach as a coach, like, you're here to be a student first. You have to be a successful student in order to play volleyball. You need to have a certain grade point average. If you're a scholarship athlete, you have a certain grade point average to receive that. School is going to get you where you want to be. Once you get that under your belt, then you become the athlete, and that's what we work hard on to make sure that they're successful in the court that way.
You meet a lot of new people on the sports teams and you make a lot of new friends, so it just kind of makes you feel more comfortable coming from high school.
We know it's a big jump going from high school to college. We do open gyms for the summertime. Sometimes we know the kids 2 summers ahead, and we'll have them come out just to meet the girls and train and try to get to the next level in that, and then just help ease that transition.
Getting to know some of the girls before even starting school helped a lot because you make friends through it because you already have a common interest.
We try our best to make sure that it's a second family and you feel welcome and you feel comfortable. We want them to come in and go, hey, I know 10, 12 other people, and that they feel a little more comfortable and a little more stable.
A lot of the teachers are really understanding for first years, and they try to help you as much as possible. And as long as you let them know when you're missing things and you're going to make up for them, they're pretty understanding of all that.
So when I recruit, I talk to the athletes about potential athletes, what programs they're interested in. We have a lot of good programs that we can utilize here and really try to sell Durham for what it is. We have tons of amenities that a lot of other schools don't have.
We have an academic athletic study room that was provided for us. We all go up there to study sometimes or just to finish homework.
I think it's really good having the team room kind of as a place to go in between class, before practice, after practice really helps out. We have like ice tubs in the back of the room that I usually use almost every time after practice.
The gyms that we have are up to date, nice equipment that we get to utilize, our hitting boxes, our AccuSpike, setting targets, passing targets.
Having like people be there to set it up for us to make sure everything's right and perfect, it's really helpful. It doesn't really put extra stress on us.
One of the big programs that we utilize is the ETS, Elite Training Systems. That's something that a lot of schools don't have for varsity only training sessions to help your athletes to increase their speed and vertical and to avoid therapy. Therapy we have 2 great trainers every year that are overseen by our therapy staff. Our athletes are usually pretty strong and do avoid injury as much as possible.
We have a great coaching staff. Tony especially, he knows how to reach out to the girls and how to get them motivated during practice.
I think what's so good about our coaching staff is that they respect us as players. Respecting your players is very important and kind of encourages people to play and work hard.
Sometimes when we're looking down and stuff, he'll always try to bring out the positivity, as well as our assistant coaches. Everyone is a well-rounded coach and they always try to help us to the best of their ability.
We always want to give back and say, like, you know, we are a community college and we want to give back to the community.
We raised money for Breast Cancer Awareness Month and for Movember, and we did our annual gift exchange with the YWCA.
we do the best to bring in club teams and like high school teams, elementary teams. When they come in, we do little special signings, like little cards and that, make them feel important, and they go, oh, this is something I can maybe do later on. So we just really want to give back to say, hey, we are Durham College, the women's volleyball program. We want to be part of the community, we want to be active, and we want to help as much as we can.
Honestly, just go out and work as hard as you possibly can, even if you think you won't have a starting spot. Everyone works to where they need to get to, and if you want to be on the court, just show it and you'll get there.
I'm in it just to rewrite history, cause I'm in the mood to.
We are back inside the Campus Recreation and Wellness Center as the Durham Lords lead 45-22 going into the second half against the Centennial Colts. As Kendra Oliver with 12 points and 1 rebound and 11 points from Shea Littman. Deja Thompson with 8 points and Glendening with 6 on the flip side. Christiana Cooks with 10 points, 4 rebounds, and Marianne Martin with 5 points for Centennial. So the Lords come out in a 2-3 zone. Shot goes up and no good from Michaela Hawkins.
He says she stepped out here there.
Yeah,
Hawkins did.
Dowrich steps out of bounds as she gets the rebounds beforehand, so that will be her 6th rebound of the night.
By the way, something to keep an eye on, Sean. Hannah Oak, we haven't seen her play a minute yet tonight, and she's on the bench right now on the bicycle. Not sure if it would be a leg strengthening issue, but we'll keep an eye on Hannah Oak. It would sure be a loss to the Lords to lose somebody after getting so many key contributors back.
Absolutely. We talked about what the different rotations could potentially look like tonight. They had that core 8. There's Hamanen as well, that currently out tonight, is usually in that lineup, would make it 9. And losing Oku really hasn't done a lot tonight, just the 2 fouls to her name. Hopefully she's all right, but looks to be in good spirits down there on the bike.
Yeah, like we said, not a lot of playing time for her tonight, so we'll keep an eye on what's going on down there.
Glendening looking for options and finds Oliver in a roundabout way, and what a move from Morrison, just unable to get a finish out of it.
Oh, if she would have finished that, she would definitely would have had the crowd on their feet. What a nice move again to the inside, able to get around the defense, the tight defense, and unfortunately the rim didn't go her way, the bounce didn't go her way, I should say.
Deja Thompson and some tough defense, and it'll be Crooks who puts up the 3-point shot, and Dowrich who gathers up the rebound.
We have foul here, looks like, on Glendening. Not happy with that at all.
And Glendening, that'll be her 2nd foul of the evening.
Not a lot of foul troubles for the Lords to really keep an eye on.
Littman. Gallimore just a bit too strong and unable to get the rebound is Oliver.
Smart play by Oliver, though, just letting it roll out of bounds. She knew it went off the Centennial defender, so Lords will get this ball back.
And once again, trying to find Oliver in the paint. This time Dowrich pokes it loose. And a turnover, as this time it goes right into the welcoming hands of Dowrich.
Try to set up Oliver again, but Howard's covering her well.
So Martin drives in. Stevens kicks it out. And this time it'll be jumped. Deja Thompson. Step back jumper and nets it.
Well, Thompson makes up for the turnover at the other end and then comes back the other way, takes that pass from Centennial into her hands and makes no mistake the other way. Another one.
And a wild pass. This time Dowrich able to make up for her mistake, gathers it up and puts it home for two.
Thompson shaking her head after that one, had it roll in and out of her hands, couldn't quite handle the intercepted pass.
Morrison drills it from deep.
Brianna Morrison, we mentioned her passing abilities tonight, 7 assists on the night. That's her 7th point as well.
So Hannah Oak readying up at the table with leverage and Glendening. Thompson gets dropped and Stevens unable to finish the shot.
Wanted a foul there too. Could have been a pretty bad contact the way that happened. Thompson just avoided it.
Thompson, and she'll pick up the foul, so we'll see at least a couple of the substitutions come on, if not all three.
Looks like Hannah Oak will be okay if she's one of those 3 substitutions. And they are going to get all 3 up there.
Yep. Glendening in as we see Littman, Oliver, and Lewis head off.
Number 10, number 14, Julie Glendening, and number 21, Onika Lemons, steps onto the court.
And doesn't make the first, but it's another interesting lineup in for the Lords. A bit more high-powered scoring. Thompson, always an option for a creative finish around the rim. And you know Morrison, a 3-level scorer here in the OCAA.
Yeah, again, we mentioned a lot of mixing and matching in the lineups with playoffs nearing. You want to see Sherlyn Chance maybe testing his lines, see what chemistry each group has out there, and depends on anybody at this point.
And I mean, with a 26-point lead, it's you've got enough of a cushion to where you can tinker with a few things and try things out.
Right, you got a big lead in this game. You got a big lead for second place in the standings. It's all about catching up to Algonquin for that first seed. But at this point in the game, this point in time, you might as well do what you can to see what works out best for your team down the stretch.
So that'll be
Number 10,
Hannah Oak picking up her 3rd foul of the evening. Certainly not what you want to see if you're her. One more and she's probably gone for another extended rest on the bench. Glendening steals the ball, gets it tied up in short order. So Glendening will be inbounding it for the Lords. Leverage gets a lane to the basket, unable to finish it.
We see another Lord wide open in that paint area just beneath the basket. Leverage just couldn't take advantage.
You get the feeling she wasn't expecting to drop Morrison like that. Probably wouldn't have passed out. Glendening. Leverage. Puts up a tough shot, and it'll be another rebound for Dowrich. Leverage with the rebound.
That'll be her 5th of the game. Leverage leading the way for Durham.
Into the paint, Morrison leaves it a bit short. Elridge once again is just racking up the rebounds over the past few minutes, showing why she's the leading rebounder in the OCAA with 8 on the night. Well on her way to her seasonal averages.
I see another couple substitutions here from both sides, looks like. Haven't got the whistle yet, but
Shea Littman readying up to come in, as well as Marianne Martin for Centennial. Still a 26-point lead, 51-25. Durham Lords all over Centennial so far in this game. 5 minutes left here in the third. Glendening pops a 3. And the bank is not open in this instance. It'll be turned over. Leverage gets the pass from Morrison, just a bit short, and that'll be out of bounds.
Off of Leverage, so this will go back to the Colts here.
So no press for the Lords. It'll be another instance of, well, it looks like it'll be a 2-3 zone there for the second. It looks like it'll be a trap coming. James out to Stevens, nutmegs Hannah Oak, and Dowridge.
Almost looked like she wasn't ready for that pass there in the paint. Dowridge took it a little bit out, had to readjust herself and take that shot right as the shot clock was expiring, but didn't get anything out of it.
Looks like she took a shot to the hand there too, was kind of shaking it off at the end.
Yeah, I was going to say she was defended a little bit there by Oak.
James is unable to finish with it, and right in the mix once again is Dowridge.
And she accidentally swatted that ball out of bounds herself in an attempt to save it, so this will go back to Durham.
Oliver back in, as well as Lewis and Deja Thompson.
Now the trio heads off. That's Leverage, Morrison, and Oak heading off as well for those three.
That is such a benefit to the Lords to have a rotation where you could just bring in 3 players at a time and bring in different looks and bring in fresh legs consistently.
Right, and that can go towards a lot of things. Accountability out of your players, trusting in your players.
Yeah.
Travel here. At least I think. That's what Trillin Chance called. Not the referee.
The referees are calling a jump ball in that situation.
Kind of looked like a travel, didn't it?
I haven't always agreed with the referees here tonight, and you see Sherlin is not thrilled with that. I don't agree with that call entirely either, so I don't blame him.
Sherlin, though, wisely backs off and doesn't allow anything to escalate.
James for 3, and there's your leading 3-point shooter on percentage for the OCAA.
First 3-pointer of the night, first points of the night overall for James. Big shot for her.
Deja gets the ball, working up top. 7 seconds left on the shot clock. Gets into the paint past her defender, and it's 2 points for the Lords.
Nice rush there by Thompson. Again, Lords taking advantage of what's being given to them, just like that.
Highly telegraphed pass. And unable to get anything off of it is the Lords, as Glendening just a bit off tonight. Some good defense on the other end from Kendra Oliver to stay with the Colts.
Frustrated Glendening heads off as Morrison checks back in. Had the chance all alone. Thompson was following it up, and they both hit the rim accidentally as they tried to lay the one softly up off the glass and in.
You know, like you mentioned, Glendening As Crooks misses the three. You mentioned, and what?
Oh, look out.
That is a crazy foul for Crooks to take in that situation.
And Thompson taking exception too. They went on to Thompson a couple times tonight. Not sure if it's out of frustration or whatnot, but Thompson wisely keeps the emotions in check, and we'll move on from this.
Yeah, that was highly unnecessary. But
yeah,
like you, just to quickly round up the thought that I was having there, you mentioned Glenn getting frustrated. She heads to the bench, but good to see all smiles shortly after as laughs it off with her teammates. Morrison once again from three. It's her 10th point of the night.
I was about to say, if you're the Lords, it might be hard to keep your frustrations in check at these points in time. A couple missed shots and a hard foul against you, but at the end of the day, you're up by 30. Just play it smart the rest of the way, and don't try to get your mind off anything else. Just worry about getting through the rest of this game.
So Stevens, ball will make its way into the hands of Crooks. She has 10 points on the night, and Brianna Morrison with the rebound gets it tied up. We'll see Sarah Dennis come back in for the Lords.
Substitution for Lords, number 22, Sarah Dennis. Comes in for number 30, Aisha Lewis.
So Lewis heads off. It's the Lords leading by 30. Oliver gets the ball down low, and a rare miss for her tonight. Putting it back off the rebound, though, is Dennis.
Well, as you mentioned, rare miss from Oliver from that spot tonight. She's been on it in the paint a lot, but good job by Dennis following that up to get on the board tonight.
Yeah, Oliver, the vintage Kendra Oliver performance, gets a block, gathers the ball, and the ball's poked loose from Morrison.
Kind of kicked at it and lost it all the way up high.
And Stevens leaving it short. Morrison looking to find Oliver, but diving to the ground is Steven to break up the pass. James kicks it into the corner. Crooks for three. That one's no good. Taylor Onda unable to keep control of it. Morrison has options, takes it herself, leaves it high off glass. Littman is there to gather it. Battling for it, Littman will find a bit of room. And she's tied up for a jump ball. So ball stays with Littman, or with Centennial, I should say.
Shot clock off too, so likely the last possession of this quarter.
7 seconds left. Shot has to go up in a hurry. It's not going to be a pretty one. 1 second remains, and it'll be a 60-28 lead, 32-point lead here in Oshawa. A big-time performance for the Lords as they look to build momentum for the final game of the season, and it's going to be a must-watch as they head out to Algonquin on February 18th at 4 p.m. Match up with the number 1 team in the OCAA East and the number 2 team in the OCAA East. Likely determines who is going to come out as the number 1 seed overall.
Yeah, and Algonquin, they have a couple more games remaining in the season than the Lords do. Lords with only that 1 game, and then Algonquin, I believe, with a couple. Can't quite remember the teams, but that's ultimately going to be the game decider right there. And if you're Durham, you want to focus on finishing out this game first and foremost, but you want to make sure everybody's healthy, ready to go for that game, because that game definitely a tune-up game for the playoffs when that time comes around. So heads will really be in it for Durham in that one.
And it's literally never a not important matchup when it comes to Durham and Algonquin.
No.
It always ends up in this situation, final game of the season. The last time this happened, it was here in Oshawa as the Kendra Oliver-led led 2019, 2020 team that went up and just kind of ran out of steam. Andrea Zulich and co in the wings there. And here we are once again, Kendra Oliver back into the starting lineup, looking like a bit of repeated history, this time on the road in Ottawa.
Yeah. And Oliver tonight, especially making another big impact statement game for her. She's gotten a lot of points, a lot of, well, first of all, 14 points for her, first and foremost, but a lot of support behind her. Thompson with 13, Littman with 11, Morrison with 10, and Glendening with 6. So again, that depth scoring, we keep mentioning that, Sean, that's been a key factor for Durham and ultimately been the difference for this game. Christiana Cooks on the other end with 10 points. She's been doing her job, but again, the extra support from Centennial Colts just not there. Martin with 5, Dorwich with 5, Hawkins 3, James 3. So not a lot of offense coming from this Centennial team, and the defense just hasn't been able to stop this force that the Lords are bringing, which has ultimately been the difference in this game as we head to the fourth.
And I've always been really impressed with Brianna Morrison. Tonight is no exception, really. You know, your leading scorer, you're expecting her, you're up 20, you're up 30, you're going to look at the box score and say, wow, Brianna Morrison really has had a ton of points as she puts up a shot, but only 10 points on the night, but really falling back into that facilitator role.
But you know what she's being, yeah, exactly. She's being more on that passive side of the ball with 7 assists, and ultimately that assists go a long way in the game of basketball. It contributes to everybody else getting a turn with the ball on the floor. So ultimately, that depth scoring can, like I said, go to a long way, especially when you have a precise playmaker like Morrison.
Morrison, once again, wide open from 3, and you can't do that.
I'm going to call it a 2, actually. I think her foot was on the line, just barely there. But nevertheless, Morrison up to the 12-point digit now.
Ball fumbled around on the floor, gets into the hands of James, but it'll be called dead.
Thompson apologizing there to Christiana Cooks.
Yeah, Crooks and Thompson have had a few exchanges here tonight, haven't they? It's been a physical matchup between those two. Crooks drives into the 2-3 zone, and it's Sarah Dennis who will pick up the foul.
Chance on the bench, not really happy about it either.
And Dennis will come out, Leverage will come in. But you know, I really like this vibe that Durham has going on tonight. Even when you saw Glendening earlier with the layup, she was unable to, you know, convert into points, and she heads to the bench. She's frustrated, and within 30 seconds of being on the bench, she's laughing and smiling, and you know, it's behind her, and you see Anika Leverage come out there, and she's bouncing around. She's, you know, getting everybody's momentum up again, their morale.
All right, like it's like at the end of the day, like I said, it's a 30-point lead. So at this point, especially in the final quarter, games at your advantage, you don't really have to be frustrated about some things. You can work on some things, especially before that big last game of the season. So it's important, like I said, keep your emotions in check, not worry too much towards the end, and just go from there. If you're the Durham Lords, just keep things simple, keep things in check, and you'll be good to go.
So Leverage misses the first of 2. Anika Leverage on the night, 4 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 assists. And misses the second. It'll be another rebound into the hands of Tara Dowich. Touchdown pass at a couple different recipients there. Littman is the one who's able to turn it into points. Deja Thompson was right behind her.
I think they both kind of looked at each other at one point too. And they're like, "Oh, do you want to take it?" Or
who's got this?
Lemon says, "Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it to the rim." Again, Oliver, that heads-up play to set that up first and foremost. A long home run or touchdown pass, as you referred to it, Sean.
Yeah. Leverage able to gain control of that somehow. Be back out to Oliver. Shot clock is winding down. 7 seconds left. Oliver has to put up a tough mid-range shot. Hits rim, so shot clock resets. Leverage gets a couple different rebounds, and the second look at it is good.
Not sure if that was set by Oliver or not, just to hit the rim, make sure the clock does set back up, but as a result, it leads to that leverage layup.
So we'll see a couple substitutions come in off of that foul as Glendening comes back in, as well as Hannah Oak. And Glendening has been struggling a bit here tonight, shooting 2 of 8 and 2 of 5 from 3 with 6 points. Also has 6 rebounds to her name, so always finding ways to contribute is Glendening.
We'll see again, a big lead for Durham. Doesn't really matter. You can try and experiment with anything. So if you're Glendening, you got to take this as an advantage to kind of get your confidence back up, get your shooting game going again, and because again, morale is key, especially for this game coming up, this last one in Ottawa. So.
And a mid-range shot from Thompson, no good. James in transition finds Crooks, drives into a wall of defenders. And Oak gets her arms up, as well as Glendening. Glendening will have to advance this pretty quickly. Finds Littman, gets it over. Thompson hands off to Hannah Oak, and it'll be a foul on Crooks, sending Hannah Oak to the line.
Again, Oak and Thompson left wide open on the back door there, right in the blue paint. The Colts haven't really done that well in defending that area at all tonight, which has ultimately led to Durham's success, and Oak at the line here.
So Oak looking to convert on the second. A bit too strong.
Lane violation,
Lane violation, yep. Yeah. Seen a few of those here this season.
Not very often you see it, but yeah, on a few occasions we've seen it.
Aisha Lewis coming on for the Lords. It'll be Leverage who heads off. The zone coming in once again. Lords are just daring the Centennial to shoot right now. A bit too strong through the hands of Stevens, and that'll be a turnover.
And another one at that for Centennial. 24 turnovers tonight compared to Durham's 14.
Glendening. Ping pong pass with Hannah Oak up and around. Oak isn't able to grab the rebound. Lewis does, and going the other way with it will be Centennial. Up into the hands of Stevens. James with a 3-point shot, and no good. And De La Ronda. Almost surprising to see James not put up more shots than she does in this offense. She has a really good release.
Yeah, and hasn't had a lot of shooting opportunities either tonight. Just that one made three-pointer she had prior to that, and offensive foul here.
Like we mentioned earlier, averaging 5 points on the season. The leading shooter in the OCAA on percentage, and I mean, I think you could make the argument that Emily Glendening, far more involved in the offense and still shooting 36% from deep, is probably the factually best shooter in the OCAA, but still, you know, when you have a shooter like that, almost surprising to not see them get more looks.
Well, has about 5 more minutes here to make sure those stats don't go down after this game.
Littman in transition takes it herself, and Stevens blocks it out of bounds. (66-38). Just a massive performance from the Lords here tonight. Morrison thinks about a three. Will swing around the horn, finds Littman. No rush on the shot clock just yet. 10 seconds remaining. Morrison finds herself wide open underneath and almost shocks herself, I think, from how wide open it was. Shot did hit the rim, so it'll reset, but it'll be a foul called.
Not quite sure who this is going to. Could go either way as both players went down.
Looks like it's going against Centennial.
And it is.
Number 11, De La Ronda, picking up the foul. Morrison passes it to Glendenning and unable to get the finish, and it's Lewis gathering it up and putting it back for 2.
And a good follow-up again. The Lords following up their shots underneath. Glendenning a little unlucky with the first try.
Morrison finds herself in transition, drops it off. Lippman is just a bit too strong. Oak gets a hand on it. Morrison puts it up and good. But on the floor is Tiffany James.
And she's really shaking up here, kicking that left foot up and down in discomfort.
And
the left leg, I should say.
When you're down on the ground there, amongst all of those rebounding attempts, it's certainly a tough spot to land. Number one, that hardwood is just never fun, but you always have to worry about somebody coming down on top of you. And I think it was Brianna Morrison, I might be wrong, who came up and got a bit on her on the way down. She may have also gotten a whack from Hannah Oak.
Yep, either one of the two in question. And
because it looks like she's holding her face from up here.
Yeah, at least the face area. I don't think, like you were saying, Sean, I don't think it was contact coming down on the floor. I think it was more getting whacked in the face, because that face area is what she's holding right now, and rolls over here just to make sure, for the team doctors to make sure she's okay.
Just a reminder, this is the first game of 2 here tonight. The men's game will be going on at around 8 o'clock, so roughly 20 minutes or so after this game ends, and there will be a ceremony in between halves at the men's game as well, as we raise a couple banners, honor a couple graduating classes from the rugby team, who have just been so successful here at Durham College.
Like we said, it's been a busy night. It's been a busy night here tonight. The women honoring their graduates, Brianna Morrison, Shay Littman, Rachel Thompson, their seniors, and then the men will have a chance to do that before the start of their game.
So with Tiffany, looks like she is going to be able to get back up, and it looks like she got a whack to the face at some point, and it was really favoring that. We'll take a quick break and come back when we have a resumption in play here in Oshawa.
The leaders of the new school. This ain't for the radio. Can't find this on YouTube. This the type of killing that these critics ain't used to. Victorious. In this day and age, I got time for innovation, time to be creative, time too big to waste on my time on critics hating, flattered by your opinions, to show you I'll just embrace it. Now watch a early sunrise up, no daylight savings, go nuts when I have to, glaze back my sound in this beats on the house that we dreaming, watch me way back up in the gas so my thoughts are distorted, cause I recall guys were hating uncommonly, all of them became common denominators. Hold up, try to overlook around.
All right, we are back here in Oshawa as Tiffany James has been helped off the floor. She'll seek some attention from the athletic therapy staff from Centennial, and hopefully all's well on her front. Like I said, it looked like there was a potential for a couple different things to have happened there, but it looks like it was a whack to the face at some point.
Yeah, but hopefully, like you said, Sean, everything's okay. Hopefully nothing too severe with any lower body or upper body injuries or whatnot.
And Hannah Oak's not going to be happy with that. She picks up her 4th. So one more, and she'll be gone for the evening. That's also the 5th team foul on Durham.
So bonuses the rest of the way for the Colts.
That's 31-point differential, 4:20 left. I mean, theoretical, it's possible. Theoretically, you never know, right?
Well, you never know.
Anything can happen in the game of basketball.
You mentioned, Sean, we've seen some crazy things happen over the weeks.
Oh, yeah. Especially this last, like, three or 4 weeks. It's just been a wild ride here on campus.
You got 5 players and only 5 players available for Georgian one night. Then the next night you get a couple nose injuries or bloody noses from both sides.
Those are
Mark Stoop for the men and someone else, I believe.
That Deja Thompson foul situation in that first game too.
And that too.
That keeps me up at night. that one bothers me. So it just the fact that it slipped by me was just like.
Oh, the life of broadcasting games sometimes. Anything can happen. Got to prepare for it.
So 30-point lead here, 4 minutes left. Durham cruising to the finish line here in the final home game of the season. It's been buoyed by a few different graduating seniors. One of them has the ball right now, Shay Littman, with 13 points on the night, as well as 4 rebounds. Hannah Oak is unable to get the pass from Deja Thompson, who also has 13 points tonight, to go with 5 rebounds and 2 assists. And Brianna Morrison, all of a sudden tied for the lead in scoring with 14 points, 7 assists, and 4 rebounds.
Yeah, the offense spreading all around here for Durham, and that's something else that's been key too, is defense.
Yeah, defense has been massive tonight. This game really turned on its head with that. Well, I don't want to say it was wrong, but controversial call from a referee. And Durham's response to it was to just steal the ball 6 times in a row.
You might have another controversial one here. Are they saying Thompson was out of bounds? Or
no, she
a violation, whatnot?
Yeah. So pass jumped, taking it up in transition is Hawkins, and it's a bit too strong. Crooks open from 3, has a foot on the line, however, and Lewis gathers it up for the rebound. Morrison. She just finds so much room in various different ways, gets those 3-point looks, get the mid-range. So crafty in transition. She's such a hard player to guard.
Yeah, she could create offense in many different ways as well, Sean. One minute you see her scoring maybe 25 to 30 a game, and the next thing you know, she's passing it like she does tonight. 8 assists.
And too strong there from Littman as we tick over the 2-minute and 30-second mark. Stevens out to Hawkins, and a long-range finger roll type situation. Morrison bobbles the pass, but will put up a tough shot, and she'll head to the line for 2, looking to make it 16 points on the night. So creeping up towards her seasonal averages of 20 points.
Yep. That's just what you want. Again, you want your best players going at all times. Your best players to stay in rhythm, stay with that rhythm, I should say. You're going to get a substitution as well as Sarah Dennis comes back in.
It always seems to be that way with Morrison. We'll talk about her having a slow first half for one reason or another. Maybe hasn't shot that well. Maybe is, like tonight, a bit more of a facilitator role. Always finds her way to get up into that 20-point mark by the end of the night.
Right, just picks it back up. And that might come from everybody else around you, but Morrison certainly with that ability to take over a game at any point in time.
So it's Hawkins bringing it up, finds Stevens. She'll pull it back out to reset the offense. Stevens lays it up and it's good. That's her second bucket of the night. Morrison finds Dennis. Thompson puts it up, and who else? Brianna Morrison.
Make it 16 for Brianna now. Or 17, I should say.
Brianna Morrison with the steal. Up to Lippman, and Lippman has to try and save it inbounds. 17 points on the night for Brianna Morrison. 1-3 away from getting to that 20-point marker. We'll see if she attempts it here in one of the final possessions of the game.
Also 3 assists away from a double-double. Might seem a little lengthy with a minute to go, but
I was just thinking that off the top of my head, and what a finish that was.
We're going to have a trio of Lords again coming in.
Yeah. So we're giving a round of applause to the seniors that are coming off right now. That'll be it for Brianna Morrison, Deja Thompson, and Shay Lipton. And that is the final time they'll be taken off the floor in the regular season here in Oshawa.
What a classy move there from Sherlyn Chance. I just recognized another trio's coming on, but sure enough, that 3 in question is the seniors, and what a way to potentially end their last regular season home game in Oshawa.
And I mean, all 3 of them here tonight have just been outstanding.
All key contributors on offense all the way.
And Stevens fumbles it out of bounds. It'll be Lord's ball with 40 seconds left, 73-44. Durham Lords up big.
Very big with that.
Glendening. Hands it off to Gallimore. Searching for an option. It'll be Leverage. 10 seconds remaining in the shot clock. Leverage gets the ball tied up with Stevens.
Stevens showing a little frustration, just literally tugging that ball away from Onika Leverage.
So 22 seconds left here in the fourth quarter in what has been a massive performance for the Lords, looking to build momentum for the final matchup of the season, and it doesn't get any bigger than a matchup with Algonquin and Christiana Crooks. 20 points on the night. 6 seconds left here. They'll put up a couple additional seconds. It'll be 8 seconds remaining here in the fourth.
We're just waiting for that clock to get reset, get this over with. But what a night overall, Sean.
Yeah, and a great way to end the career here at Oshawa for the graduating seniors. Brianna Morrison, Shay Lippman, and Deja Thompson all had massive performances here tonight. Brianna Morrison with 17 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. And Shay Lippman with 13 and 4 rebounds. Deja Thompson with 13, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists. Kendra Oliver got in on the action as well with a start here tonight. 14 points and 1 rebound. And on the other side, Christiana Crooks. But like we said, it doesn't get any bigger than the next game of the season. A showdown in Ottawa with Algonquin, looking to reclaim the throne.